Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 822, Quiet Sam. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Head over to Weaver's Department Store, and if you didn't get one yet, get the Mayberry wall calendar for 2025. Very limited supply. Weaver's reordered them, so they have some in stock right now, but once they're gone, they're gone. So if you want one, head over and get it now. While you're there, you might want to check out the Mayberry Man movie. Well, it's actually the series, season 1 DVD. You can go pick that up, or the movie. They're both there. And you might want to check out the Mayberry Sheriff's wooden badge magnets that stick on your refrigerator and everything. I love magnets. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners like you and viewers. The executive producer of episode number 822 are the attendees of the Mayberry Meetup that we do in Mount Airy, North Carolina in July. So thanks to all of you guys for helping raise money to keep this podcast going and to help fund things. You know, I had to buy a computer. I had to do a lot of stuff last year, and I bought some more stuff for the meetup, actually, even speakers and all kinds of stuff so everybody could hear a little. So thanks to all of you for that. Thank you for being here with me as well. I'm Allan, the host of Two Chairs No Waiting, and if you just dropped in and didn't know anything about it, I am a tribute artist for Floyd the Barber. And if you're watching the video, you'll see I currently have a beard, but I don't normally have a beard. It's just the off season. I don't have to shave during the off season, so I'm lazy and let my beard grow out just a little bit. But I do that, and I've been running the imayberry.com website since the very early 90s, 91, 92 time frame. So it's been a long time, and I am a huge fan of the Andy Griffith Show, just like you. This episode, we're going to be talking about one of the episodes from season 1. I started last year, probably around this time, going through each episode of the Andy Griffith Show. And believe it or not, you know, we're at 822, and I'm only up to the 29th episode of season 1. At this pace, maybe I'll get through them all before, I don't know, before 2050. I don't know. But it's been a lot of fun just going in and reviewing these episodes. So we're going to do that. We got some odd facts known by a few about this episode, so you'll be able to hear that. And we also have got some cool trivia by Paul Mulik. It's all about books. It's books. So keep that in mind. So we're going to play some trivia after that. So Quiet Sam, if you don't remember, just quick run through. It's Barney suspicious of this odd fella named Sam that's unfamiliar. They just don't know him. He hadn't been in town very long. And he acts strange, and he starts accusing him of thinking he's up to something. And in the end, Barney is proven wrong, obviously. But that's kind of the basics of it. But the actual details of the show we'll get into. Let's see if I can get us a little background music so we can, I don't know, it just sounds a little bit better, I think, when we do that. Let's do this one. There we go. From our VW boys, ladies and gentlemen, are giving us that. So let's hear, there's the information now about Quiet Sam. It was the 29th episode of the Andy Griffith Show from season 1. Now, it was aired and filmed as a 29th episode. Some of the episodes are not that way, but this one does meet that requirement. It was in May the 1st, 1961, when it first aired. Wow, that's amazing. Let's see. The writers were Jim Fritzell and Everett Greenbaum, and the director was Bob Sweeney. Bob Sweeney was the director. These episodes are so fun to go through just because they bring up such great memories. I hope they'll bring up memories for you. The episode starts off with Barney and Floyd walking out of Floyd's barbershop, and Floyd realizes Barney's hair is not quite level. I said, I got to trim this up here in the back. Hey, if you have an unbalanced head. So he's going and trying to get Barney's head balanced. And as Barney's getting his hair trimmed right outside the door of the barbershop, he notices a car sitting on the street not far from a fire hydrant. So he has to go out there and check it. So Barney walks off the distance between the car and the actual fire hydrant. And as he walks there, he gets right to the end, and it's 2 inches too far away for it to be a violation. So he misses it. He didn't get him. It turns out, though, that the driver of that car is going to be our subject of our podcast tonight, of our episode review. His name is Sam. And nobody knows much about him except he just moved to town recently, and he's really just not been talking to anybody in town. Very quiet-lived. So Floyd doesn't know anything about him. Nobody really does. So Barney goes over and tries to talk to him as he's loading his groceries into the back of the truck. And again, he doesn't really talk to Barney. He has to go back into the grocery store to get more. And so Barney's trying to figure out, there's just something strange about this man. It just don't seem right. And he's telling Floyd all this stuff. So when he comes back out of the store to put some more in there, he says, Barney says, "Oh, don't look at him. Don't look at him." And then Floyd and Barney stand there looking the opposite direction from the truck. And Barney says, "What's he doing?" And Floyd goes, "I don't know. You told me not to look." That's just a great line to me. I don't know. So Barney's frustrated with Floyd because he did what he said to do. But basically, Sam gets in his truck and drives off. And Andy comes up and kind of sees him looking at this and a question. And Barney like, why are you suspicious of this guy? You don't talk to anybody. He just comes to town and doesn't do anything. Andy says, "Well, that's not against the law or anything, Barney. You don't worry about that." Well, there was a big storm coming up that night, and Andy and Aunt Bee and Opie were sitting around in the living room. They closed the windows, the curtains. You could see them at the beginning of the episode were blowing into the Taylor's dining room and kitchen area. So Andy was closing one of the windows and yelled at Opie to go over and close the other one. And they start looking, just talking about stuff. And the doorbell or the knock, I can't remember if it's a doorbell or not, but Barney's at the door. Aunt Bee goes and answers it, and Barney comes in. He has to speak to Andy alone. So Andy asks him to go out of the room there. And so basically Barney ends up giving Andy all kinds of details. He's been over to Ellie's drugstore and found out what Sam's been buying and everything. And Andy says, well, maybe he's just stocking up with that kind of stuff. But Barney is so suspicious about Sam that he wants Andy to go up to, wherever Sam's farm is, and somewhere way out there, way out of town, because Andy doesn't really want to go. But he says, "They're going to make you happy if I go?" And Barney says, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, all right, go." So he tells Aunt Bee he's going. Well, they get up there and they see Sam in the nighttime. This is night. He's out plowing. He's tilling the fields to get ready to plant or something. That's at night, and he's on his tractor. And it's got headlights and stuff on it because you see him at some point. But Barney and Andy are watching him as he plows his field. And Barney says, "Look at that. Why is he doing that?" He said, "Well, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like the sunshine. Maybe the heat gets to him, or maybe he's behind on his planting or something." But what's he planting? And he goes, "Oh, I don't know, Barney, but there's nothing against him plowing his own field at night." Well, as he's plowing, they notice the lights in the house. One of the windows, the lights in the house blink on and off, on and off. And Sam stops his tractor, jumps off, and heads running into his house. And Barney's like, "See, what about that?" He said, "Barney, as far as I know, there's nothing in the books that makes it illegal to hop off your tractor and run into your own house." He said, "Well, here's what I think we ought to do. We're going to head back to town, and you're going to do your, I think it's 11 o'clock rounds." And Barney's like, okay, "And I'm going to go into the courthouse and have a cup of coffee." It just makes Barney so mad. He's just mad because Andy's not taking this serious at all. And he says, "Let's go, Barney. We got to go." So the storm keeps going. Andy is at the jail cell. There's lightning going on. Otis is in jail that night. And so Andy is trying to calm Otis down. He says, "Just noise, Otis. Don't worry about it. You can go back to sleep and just get your rest. It's all right." Well, Andy gets a phone call from Sam. And he tells Otis, he said, I've got to go up there. Sam has called me, and he's having problems up on his farm. I'm going to have to go up there. I need you to tell Barney that I'm going, right? So I need to Sam Becker's house. Going up to the Becker's farm. And of course, Otis, he's Otis. He don't remember. So by the time Barney comes in, Barney's asking him questions about it, and he says he went to the Becker house. Well, what did the man look like that brought the message? Well, I need to know exactly what he looked like. Was he big? Was he small? Oh, Barney. And finally he goes, Barney, I can't tell you none of that stuff. Well, why not? He said, because they called on the phone. A great line by Otis there. It just also irks Barney. So Barney's all upset the whole time. So when Barney heads up there, he goes to the Becker's farm. He gets there and he's looking in the window, and he sees Sam and Andy kind of wrestling back and forth. But it's not a big deal, I guess. Andy got up there first, and he calls Barney and was trying to get Barney to bring Aunt B, because Andy's already found out, the Beckers are having a baby. So that's what the problem is. So Barney's calling around, though, and trying to get the boys together, like Floyd, to come and be a posse and head up to the farm. So he's trying to do that. Well, Floyd don't want to go because it's raining. And Floyd said, well, what should I wear? He said, Floyd, just get down here. Well, right after he gets off the phone, that's when Andy finally calls him. And Barney answers the phone, and it gets cut off, basically, because Sam is, first-time father. His wife obviously was having some kind of issues with the pregnancy, because she couldn't really get out of bed. He was having to take care of her. But he comes and hangs up the phone and said, Andy, I need you in there. Well, Barney just thinks they made Andy hang up the phone. So Barney now thinks, I have got to go up to the farm immediately. I got to go up there, and I just got to go up there. So you tell the boys to come on up there, Otis. And when Barney gets there, Andy is trying to get Sam to sit down on the couch and relax. Well, Barney's looking through the window, and he sees Andy and Sam look like they're wrestling, but they're not really wrestling. Andy's trying to get him to sit down on the couch and relax. And he says, I don't want to sit down. I feel like I'd feel better walking around. Well, Barney don't hear any of this, obviously. So he's all concerned. He gets his gun out, and Andy and Sam are talking. Sam says, well, I'd rather just walk around. Andy's like, okay, all right, just go ahead and do that. And as they're sitting there talking, Andy sits down to get him some coffee. Well, Sam hears somebody at the door, and he opens the door, and Barney, who was about to bust down the door, comes flying through the door and runs all the way across the room because the door opened right when he got to it. And it's after that Barney realizes, it's just his wife's pregnant. Well, Sam's telling him all the stories about it and everything, and while Andy's still in the room with Sam's wife. And eventually Andy comes out, and Barney kind of whispers to him. He said, well, you don't say much in town, but you can't shut him up here at his house, can you? So they start to look into it, what they got to do. Why don't you call? When's the doctor supposed to get here? Is what Barney wants to know. And Andy says he's out of town. He's not going to make it. Well, who's going to deliver the baby? I guess I am. Andy. Don't you remember you failed biology? So Andy said, shh, be quiet. You can't be saying that. Sam's got confidence in me. We got to make him feel confident and calm. So Barney, because he said, who's going to deliver the baby? You, Barney? No. He said, all right, well, we got to do this. So Barney starts reading the list of how to have a baby. And he said, I already did that. Boil water, tear up sheets for linen, everything. I already got all that covered. So he'd been looking into it. And Barney and Sam both get excited more than one time, believing the baby is on its way. And Andy's like, no, it's not. Now, why don't you guys just sit down here and talk? Why don't y'all come up with something to talk about? Well, Andy says, Barney, you were in the Army, weren't you? And he goes, I was, Andy. Oh, yeah, I was in the Army. So he tells he's in the Army. And Sam says he fought in Korea. He was in Korea. And then Barney and Sam begin to talk sitting there on the couch. Everything's going good. They're visiting with one another. Andy kind of sneaks into the room where Sam's wife is. And they've been telling stories for quite a while. And Andy comes sneaking out of the room, carrying the baby in his arms. He has Sam's new baby boy in his arm. And they're like, well, why didn't you call us or something? He said, well, the baby came along around Army story number 17 or so. And so they have the nice little baby that's Sam's and his wife's. And they have a nice little scene there where they all hold the baby. Sam doesn't want to hold it because he's afraid he'll break it. And Andy says, no, just hold its head up and don't let its head fall back and you'll be fine. And basically Andy then says, Barney, I think I'm going to go outside and get a smoke. You want to go with me? So he walks outside. This is we see Andy smoking in this episode, by the way. It's one of the few we see this. It's the first time, I believe. And they're out on the front porch talking and just kind of trying to relax. It's early in the morning by this point, daylight already. And they hear a noise out there, and it's Floyd. Floyd's out there going, psst, psst. Floyd's out there carrying a rock. He's got a rock in his hand, and you end up, so what is Floyd doing here? And he comes out from behind the corner there of the front porch along with two other men. And it's just a little posse I was getting together, Andy. And Floyd tells the story that he was going to bring Melba's walking stick, but she was using it, wouldn't let him bring it. So he brought a rock. So that's kind of fades out of this scene. And then, right at the end of it, Sam comes running out of the house and says, I just can't get Andy to quit crying to Andy. And Andy goes, oh, Andy. He realizes they've named the baby after him. And they head on back into the house, and Andy's pretty happy about that. The next scene is the epilogue of the series, of this episode. And Aunt Bee has made it over there along with Opie, and she's going to help take care of the baby and everything so that I think her name's Lily can get some rest. And while they're coming out of the room there, Sam and Opie and Aunt Bee, they hear a big commotion outside, and they go and look outside, and there's a whole bunch of people out there with baby stuff and baskets of food and all kinds of things, and playing music and singing. They'll be coming around the mountain when she comes, or she'll be coming around the mountain. And they basically end the episode with that scene of all the folks there in Mayberry welcoming the new baby to town, that they have this new little baby citizen of Mayberry. And that is a long summary of the episode. So hope you like that. Now, here are some odd facts known by few. Known by few. All right, so here we go. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, Barney notices Sam's truck parked too close to the fire hydrant, he thinks, right? So he's going to measure it off. And as he does that, he tells that the fire hydrant is Rule 8, Section B, too close to the fire hydrant. So that's what the rule is. That would have made him get a ticket had he been just 2 inches closer. Just 2 more inches. Let's see. At night, when they go out there to Sam's farm, they're out there and they see him plowing and everything in the nighttime. That is around 8:30 at night when this happens. And Barney proposes that Sam might be cultivating marijuana. So Andy and Barney are watching the farm there, and they see him out there doing it. As Sam drives his tractor, he's driving it around. He speculates that he's planting marijuana, and Andy doubts it's marijuana, but agrees that Sam's planting something. So anyway, this is the only time that I'm aware of that actual illegal substances were talked about on the Andy Griffith Show, marijuana. So there's a interesting little bit of trivia for you that I think you definitely something most people wouldn't know. This is one of the only episodes where we actually see it actually raining in Mayberry, because you can see Barney's coat and everything when he goes, and Andy's, when they actually go to Sam's farm. You can actually see the rain, and you see their coats are wet and everything when they're there, because they have on raincoats, rain jackets. But this is one of the few times we ever see it rain. It's not the only time, but one of the few. Ellie is mentioned, as I did mention as we were going through it, by Barney, where he's talking about Ellie. He went over to Ellie's and found out everything that Sam had been buying, but she didn't appear on this episode, but she was mentioned. At the end of the episode, as I mentioned, all that group of people gathered there and at Sam's place. Well, the Country Boys were there along with Andy. The Country Boys, the band, singing "She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain When She Comes" at it's called a shivery like shower, shivery. So shivery, I had to look that up to make sure I understood what that was. You've probably heard of before, especially in a little bit longer ago, when people got married or had a honeymoon, there would be the whole community would come out to their house and be outside and sing and do all this kind of stuff. So that's a shivery. It's SHIVAREE, not shivery like the knights of old days. This is the kind of shower they had. So they basically had a baby shower for them, where they all just gathered outside the house and were having a little celebration. The band, the Country Boys, as I mentioned, they appear in the background singing in this particular scene. They'd previously appeared on the episode Mayberry on Record. That was episode number 19 of season 1. The dark-haired guitar player you can see just over Andy's left shoulder in the episode. His name is Clarence White, and there's twins. Clarence is one of the two, and he was later a member, Clarence was, of the rock band The Byrds in 1968. That's when he was a member there. Let's see. So Floyd, Mayberry's barber, y'all know who Floyd is. He mentions his wife's name is Melba. We hear him talking about that when he is being told by Barney that he needs to come up there and be part of the posse. So when he's on the phone with Barney, he talks about his wife, Melba. Sadly, though, she seems to have passed away sometime after this episode and before Floyd the Gay Deceiver, which was in season 3. That was episode 9 of season 3. So we're at 29th episode of season 1. So sometime in there, Floyd became a widower because, the Floyd the Gay Deceiver, he's actually in a Lonely Hearts Club, where he's trying to get the lady to come to like him and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we find that out that Melba was her name, I guess, like the toast, Melba. Barney tells Sam when he's sitting on the couch with him there in his trying to keep him calm and everything. He tells him that he served in the war, and so they're talking about that. So Barney says he was stationed. He did his part to, quote, whip the dreaded Hun, is what it actually said, meaning that he served in the Army during World War II. Now, Barney then goes on to say that he was stationed at basically Staten Island. He was a librarian during the war. He said he was across the pond, but he was really just on Staten Island as a librarian during the war. So we did find out that Sam fought in Korea, because he mentioned that. And as I mentioned, Sam's wife's name is Lily, if you didn't remember that. So when Andy is looking to, he's going to deliver this baby, and Barney finds out about it, Barney actually tells Andy, he says, Andy, think back to 1938. Miss Webster's biology class. You flunked. He was doing a bisection or a biopsy or what's that called? It's not a bisection. He was doing that where they're cutting them apart of a grasshopper, and he didn't do it. He didn't do a good job. So that's what Barney was worried about when he said he was going to be delivering this baby. You can't deliver this baby because you don't know what you're doing. So the baby, by the way, Sam's son, who he named Andy, we found out he weighed 8 pounds and 9 ounces when he was born. That's one of the things that ladies always want to know when the baby is born. How much it weighs? I don't know. Now, he didn't tell how long it was, so we don't know. We don't know how tall, long. I'm not sure of the right terminology. This was the first child that we know of that was named after Andy Taylor. Later in the series, Charlene Darling, she names her daughter Angelina in honor of Andy, if you remember that. So William Shallert, he was the father, Sam. William Shallert is the actor's name. He appeared on episodes of he only appeared on this episode of the Andy Griffith Show, but he was on many other things like Star Trek, the episode Trouble with Tribbles of Star Trek, the original series. He was on My Name is Earl, South of the Border, Part Uno was another one. He's been in a lot of things, so you've probably seen William Shallert in many places. So there is a newspaper sitting on the desk with Andy that you can clearly see when we the name of the newspaper on the desk at Sam's house, and you can definitely read what the newspaper actually says. It is actually the Mount Airy News. You can see the Mount Airy's newspaper right there on the table. Now I'm trying to look and see. I can't remember exactly what it was. Oh, here it was. It's when Barney and Andy are sitting around the table. It is the Mount Airy News that is on the table when Barney's trying to read the information about how to have a baby or how to deliver a baby to Andy, and they're going through it. And Barney goes, it's time. He gets up. That part, if you look really close, you can see the Mount Airy News laying on the table right there beside Barney. You can see it clear as day. It's upside down, but you can actually see it just fine. Excuse me. All right, let's see. What else have we got? This is the first of only 2 times that we actually see Andy wearing his police hat. Yeah, he puts it on because it's raining, and he wears it up to Sam's house. So we see him outside of Sam's house wearing his police hat. Got his sheriff's hat on. And the only other time we ever see it is in episode 26 of season 3, Andy's English Ballet. All right, guys, that is what we have to show you this week. All right, so now we're going to play some trivia. If you guys are ready, we have got trivia from Paul Mulik. I hope you enjoyed that little review we did. So here we go, some trivia time. So get out your pencil and your piece of paper. And we're going to do a book trivia. The topic is books. All right, so our chat rooms are joining in. As I mentioned, our chat rooms, we got them. And if you'd like to be a part of them, you can join us on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, in the chat rooms. And you can go to live.2chairsnowaiting.com and join us. There's also a chat room over on our YouTube channel. So you can go to our YouTube channel as well. If you go to 2chairsnowaiting.com and look at any of our episodes, you can look and go to our YouTube channel from the videos that are posted there. You can go straight to them. But you can head over to our YouTube channel, or you can head over on Facebook too and join us live on Monday nights. And so we got folks in our chat rooms. I'm going to see how they're going to do during the trivia. So here we go. Question number 1. And remember, you can always pause if you don't want to try to answer. You want a little more time. But here we go. Question number 1. It's worth 2 points. Barney has a book of love poetry. Name the title for 1 point. and the author, for the other point, of the book. Okay. Barney has a book of love poetry. This is not related to this episode, by the way, just so you know. It's just trivia. He has a book of love poetry for 2 points, 1 point each. Name the title of the book and the author of the book. Folks in our chat room are getting it correctly. I see it. Great job for folks. Let's see. Folks over on Facebook, are they getting it? I can't see our YouTube folks. Hopefully you guys are doing this. All right, here's the answer. Pause if you don't want to hear it. All right, here's a little hint before I do that, okay? It's from the episode Opie Loves Helen, if that's helpful. But here's the answers. For 1 point, the name of the book is Poems of Romance. That was 1 point. And for 1 more point, the book is by Jonathan Osgood. Jonathan Osgood. There you go. All right, that was 2 points you could have gotten. We got 5 questions. We have another one worth 2 points in a minute. So there's, 7 points available. All right, question number 2 for 1 point. What book is Andy reading to Opie when they are interrupted by a bunch of single women showing up at their house? I got this one. What book is Andy reading to Opie when they are interrupted by a bunch of single ladies showing up at their house? All right. This is, if you already guessed, it's 1 point. You get a point anyway, but here's a hint for you. It's from the episode A Wife for Andy, if that's helpful. The name of the book, we'll accept 2 different answers, but the name of it is actually The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. But if you said The Headless Horseman, I'll give you that as well. So Paul said he would give you that. So The Headless Horseman or The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is the correct answer. All right. So now you could have 3 points. Number 3. What kind of books does Thelma Lou's cousin Karen say that she loves? Ooh, I don't know. I did not know this one. I didn't know this one. What kind of books does Thelma Lou's cousin Karen Moore, say that she loves? All right, I'm looking on our chat room. They're still in there talking about it was a very witching time of night. It's a very witching time of night. Da, 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 da. All right, so here comes the answer. Now that, since it was Karen Moore, you should know the episode was The Perfect Female. She was the skeet shooter, remember? All right, so the answer for 1 point, she liked scary mysteries or mysteries. If you said mysteries, I think that's an acceptable answer. But scary mysteries is what she said she liked. Mystery books. All right. Okay. This is number 4 we're going into. Now, this one again, worth 2 points. 2 point question. What is the title of the children's book that Helen wrote? And, for 1 more point, what is her pen name? Whew. All right. What's the title of the children's book that Helen wrote? And, for another point, what is her pen name? All right, so now you get a chance to answer. The little hint is this is from the episode Helen the Authoress. If that's helpful. You should probably already know that part. So here's the answers. For 1 point, the name of the children's book that she wrote was Amusing Tales of Tiny Tots. Amusing Tales of Tiny Tots. And her pen name, for 1 point, was Helen Alexian Dubose. Helen Alexian Dubose. How'd y'all do on that? Chat room, I see some folks getting it. Definitely Kentucky Mike, Emmett. Oh, Emmett almost got it. He got really close. Let's see. Amusing Tales of Tiny Tots. Yep, there you go. All right. I see Claudette Beeman. Yeah, we got several folks in here getting it. All right, good job. So how did you do? I knew her name. I knew the pen name. I don't think I wouldn't have gotten the book. All right, so our final question, worth 1 point. Final question, number 5. What book of Opie's gave Andy the idea to use disappearing ink? Now, this is a color episode. This is color. What book of Opie's gave Andy the idea to use disappearing ink? Okay, it's a color episode, The Darling Baby. Darling Baby is the name of the episode. The name of the book, I'm not seeing anybody really jumping on this one in our chat room. Do y'all know it? Did you know? I didn't know this one. The name of the book is 20 Scientific Tricks a Boy Can Do at Home. There you go. There you go. 20 scientific tricks a boy can do at home. I wonder if girls can do it. I think girls could do these too. They would never name it like that now, would they? We would not be able to get away with that because the girls could do that. All right, so there you go, guys. How did you do? You had a possibility of 7 points. You could have gotten seven total points out of the 5 questions. So how did you do? How did you do? Hopefully you did good, and hopefully at least you had fun. That's really the only thing. Some folks in the chat room said they got 1 answer right. Some said they got 6 points, and so we got different numbers all the way from 1 to 5 out of 7, 6 possibly. So they're just all over the place. So how did you do? I didn't do that good. I wouldn't not have gotten, let's see, most of them. I'm not that good at the trivia. People think I'm good at trivia. What I'm good at is looking it up. I'm good at that. I can look up stuff. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I hope it going through the episode helped bring back a few memories of the Andy Griffith Show and just made you think of things. And hopefully the odd facts known by a few, I was able to throw in a few things there that you might not have been aware of. I hope you enjoyed that. I always hope you have a good time visiting with me here in Mayberry, because I always have fun visiting with you and telling you stories about stuff. Guys, I would love to hear from you. You can give me a call at 888-684-8415. You can email me at floyd@imayberry.com or drop by twocairsnowaiting.com. All that information is there about how to contact me, or you can leave a message there as well. Guys, I love hearing from you. It's always fun to hear from the fellow Mayberry citizens. And until we meet again right here on Mayberry, we'll see you then, guys. Have a great week. Good night, everybody.